More on this, we're joined by our man Coy Wire. Coy, of course, played 9 years in the NFL. Andrew Luck is really hurting here, physically and now emotionally too. As somebody who's played and been injured yourself, how do you feel seeing him suffer like that?
That's tough. I felt that same sort of pain and suffering when I had to leave the league. I'm talking about the mental, the emotional. I remember when I left the league, I had panic attacks. I had anxiety attacks. Thank goodness my wife has a degree in psychology, and she let me know, you're not having a heart attack here, Coy. Yeah. It's very difficult to walk away from the game you love, that for which you've worked your entire life. You've invested so much of yourself. This is what he was feeling before the news was leaked that he was going to make this very difficult decision to retire for the betterment of his mind and his body. There he was, the fans booing, fans taking off his jersey. He had no idea the news had leaked. I can only imagine how that added to this already difficult time in his life. But this is a guy who had a lacerated kidney. He had torn ligaments, cartilage, concussion, all of these things. He's a smart guy. He has an engineering degree from Stanford, so he's looking at his life. And he said earlier in the week, he said something interesting. He said, I don't want my life to be judged and determined its value on how I perform on a football field. So that was really interesting to me, that he was able to get to a place where he could leave the game under his own volition. That rarely happens. My 9 years in the NFL, hundreds of teammates, I can count on one hand the number of guys, maybe not even a full hand, who walked away on their own terms. We rarely see it. But that may be a thing of the past. We're seeing this trend now and this reversal. Patriots star Rob Gronkowski retiring, some say too young, this offseason. We had a player last year, Vontae Davis for the Buffalo Bills, retired in the middle of a game, walked away and just said, I've had too much. Other star players in recent years walking away. So wondering now how this decision, one of the brightest stars in the league, last year's comeback player of the year, retiring, shocking the world. How many other NFL players right now are wondering, should I be thinking about the same?
It was really, really unfortunate to see the reaction of the fans. And whether this had been leaked or whether he had made the announcement and got to say it for himself, they'd still have been upset, right? Because the team, the Colts, were Super Bowl contenders, so they're disappointed. But where is the empathy from these fans? This guy has given literally blood, sweat and tears to the team.
Yes.
All right, too bad he's not going to be able to play for them.
He's one of the nicest players in the NFL. People will tell you across the league, but there he was being booed. What does that say about sport culture? Because you go into almost any other profession, whether you're a CEO, whether you're a Wall Street tycoon, and your family life is being affected, or your sleep. You're only sleeping 2 hours a night. I love what I'm doing. I've worked for this, but I'm going to leave it all behind to take care of my mind and my body. You would be applauded for that. People say you have so much courage. Whereas Andrew Luck, in the sports world, it's a little bit different. They're booing, you're being berated. It's interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure he's got a great future ahead of him, though, just no longer on the field. Coy, great to see you again. Thanks very much. Soccer fans are known for their passion and often their humour. Who would think of naming a game of football after something as mundane as traffic congestion? Well, they did it in Los Angeles, and this fixture is anything but gridlocked.